I left my seat and carried my heel away. Another one showed up on my seat.
Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa. Did you have a great day today? I did too. So I invite you to join with me. I'm going to be singing a few songs and you have the lyrics available. This one's called Lead Me to the Light. Lead me
Good evening. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Arbor Day. Everything else that I can think of that's coming up. Solstice. Happy winter solstice. I'm going to say that we live in a wonderful world. And I'm also going to say that it takes people like you and it takes minds and hearts like you to remember that. And so, tonight, in your remembrance, I want you to know with me in prayer as we get started tonight. I want you to see all of those beautiful families, the beautiful country of Pakistan. I want you to see all of the events that take place in our world tonight, and I want you to, in your own form and in your own fashion, bring them right now as your eyes are closed into your heart. And if you would, take a deep breath with me. What I know and what I cherish above all earthly things is the insight and the consciousness, the awareness and the presence of that which we know to be the divine. It is humbling to realize that regardless of what transpires on the realm of this earthly plane, that there is never an absence of that which we know to be God. There is never an absence of the experience of love. And mysteriously and wondrously, there is always this thing called divine order. And we bring our humanness now to the altar of understanding, where we ask that our eyes be able to see, that our hearts be able to discern, that our minds never waver, never quiver, never escape the infallibility of that which is God. And may we in this moment renew a personal and a communal vow to be that change, to be that remembrance, to be the energy of recognition that walks and breathes amongst all people, to forever realize the divinity and the sacredness of life. May we go within daily in order to do our personal inventory and to ask and to question, what is it that is mine to do in this world? What is the grounds? What is the path? What is the place that I am to travel and to trod and to tread and to walk and to climb through this world in order that I might be that voice of recognition? And may we, in this personal inquiry every single day, be willing to heed that voice, to follow that call, and to honor the sacredness of who and what we are, realizing that in some way, in some degree, we are the start of a ripple that heals. We are the hand that supports. We are the feet that do the legwork. And we are the minds that bring transformation. And on this beautiful eve of celebration, on this night of candle lighting, and in this season of light, may we give ourselves the luxury to pause just long enough to understand how blessed we are, to hold sacred the freedoms that sometimes we take for granted, to realize that even an event such as this is a product of freedom. And so as we breathe deeply in the reverence and the sacredness of the divine, may we claim now this divine intention that the music that is sung, that the words that are spoken, that the ignition of the light both singularly and communally, symbolize and revere all that is right and all that is good in the world. May we do whatever we can in this moment to course correct any false energy, to ride the wave of a new paradigm of being, and to know and to remember that we do make a difference. And for all of these things, for the beauty of the law, for the awareness of the law, for the power of the law, by which we give our request and they are received, we know now and can say truly that God is all that there is. And I ask for a moment now that you pause, breathing in deeply. And in your own form and fashion, send your healing energy into this world, just for this moment. And together we say, and so it is.
So this selection is I'm Here to Remind You, and Ian Folker is here to sing with us. He's going to sing the first verse. We invite you to join in the second time.
To remind you of your magnificence, to help you awake to the wonder that you are. I long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. I'm here to remind you how much you're truly loved.
Join us.
I'm here to remind you of your magnificence, to help you awake to all the wonder that you are. I long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. I'm here to remind you how much you're truly loved.
You're here to remind me.
You're here to remind me of my magnificence, to help me awake to all the wonder that I am. You long to show me all the joy you're worthy of. You're here to remind me how much I'm truly loved.
Our theme this evening is illumination, light. And I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful to get the interpretation of that from the various stages of life, from the child perspective to the young adult, I won't call them middle-agers, I'll just say the seasoned ones. And then to get that word of wisdom from the mightiest of elders. And so tonight we have the opportunity to have just that, to hear about illumination, beauty of light from these wonderful people. And first is our elder, no, I'm sorry, our young. Please welcome Brooklyn.
Walk as children in the light. Awake, you who sleep. Arise from the dead, and Spirit will give you light. And then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light, and God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Spirit in heaven. Walk as children in the light. Awake, you who sleep. Arise from the dead, and Spirit will give you light. You were once in darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Awake, walk as children in the light.
Hello, goodbye. No. Hello, my friends. How are you doing? My name is Jafon, for those of you who don't know me, a member of this incredible center, and also a member of the phenomenal, the fantastic, the illuminating, and the abundant young adult community, which is entitled Kinetic Ascent. And I'm very grateful to be able to stand in front of you here today. Yet again, I always enjoy being able to stand in front of such an amazing group of people. And as we come together in this incredible time to share our energy, a piece of our time, our hearts, and illumination that is shining within each and every one of us. So I would like to begin just by letting you know that I see, I honor, and I recognize the light that is shining within each and every one of you. You are illuminating, you are incredible, you are gifts to this abundant planet of ours, and I greatly appreciate you. So to begin, I just simply would like to say, Namaste. It's incredible when I think back to the days of the holidays as I was growing up throughout my incredible life thus far, and it brings a smile to my face and also brings joy to my heart. Not just, expecting presents from each and every one of you, but but it brings joy to my heart because you have to understand that I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, and it's an amazing place. But my upbringing, as I've mentioned here in the past, was unique to say the least. In fact, my grandma and grandpa supported not only them, myself, my two little sisters, but also supported my mother and my aunt, who were both struggling at that time with the meager $1,700 that they received from their Social Security. So I first recognized the joy and the compassion that I have experienced just witnessing my mom, who would go out of her way, even though she was struggling, going through different things that we all go through. She made sure that my sisters and myself at least received one present that we were seeking to get. But the thing that brings extreme amount of joy to my heart and compassion into my life is reflecting back upon the amazing people in the community who took time out of their days, out of their lives, to bring food to my family during the holidays. individuals who brought gifts from myself and my sisters. And I wonder, I was thinking about this just the other week, I wonder if those individuals truly recognized the amount of joy, of compassion, of light that they were bringing in to my household. So it humbles me and fills me with joy to know that we are a part of such an incredible place that we can use our light and share it through gifts of compassion, of joy, of reaching out to the community for those who are maybe in need or less fortunate at this current time. And we can be the spark of light and illumination in their lives, just as my community growing up did for me. So from that note, I would like just to remind you that the same essence, the same energy, the same life, the same divinity, the same presence, the same light that enabled the great mystics, the prophets that we look up to, the individuals who have walked this earth before us, individuals like Martin Luther King and Gandhi and Mother Teresa. I would just like to remind each and every one of you that the same essence that was in them is also in you. It is also in me. It is that essence, that energy, that light that enabled us to simply arise and be. So I encourage you to grasp that light, to spend time in the peace and presence of your own being and recognize and honor the light which you are. Bringing that inside and helping to illuminate the gifts that you have resting inside of you right now. Your unique abilities, your talents, your skills, your gifts of compassion. And as you do that, not only just recognize that they are there, but draw nearer to them, embrace them, and then do what is necessary to share those with the world around you. You see, when we recognize that we are the light, and we use that light to help uncover the gifts that we may have pushed to the side, or the gifts that may be in the unknown compartments of our vessel that we may have overlooked, we have the ability to take that gift, put it into action, and give it to others. And as we share that light that is resting at the depths of ourselves with another person, we are doing our part in illuminating this incredible world. So I encourage you, throughout the holidays and into the new year, know that you are the light. Embrace the light that is shining within you, and do your best to see the light shining from all people, from all things. My friends, we are the people that we've been waiting for. We are the change agents. But most importantly, we must honor and cherish the essence of life, the light, the illumination that rests within ourselves. And as the Buddha said, thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of that candle will not be shortened. Our happiness, my friends, is never decreased when it is shared. Peace and blessings, and so it is.
I have to follow that. Great. No. Good evening, I'm Penelope. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here tonight, and thanks for the opportunity, Reverend David, to be before the group with a microphone and no keyboard. I'm a little nervous in that way, but nevertheless, the staff really knows that's actually true. But, he said, well, what does light mean to you? What is it for you? And for me, light is love. It has such great energy to it. And isn't it interesting? The darkest time of the year is when we discuss light to this degree, right? And it's kind of like the chalice light. It's the one that we nurture. It's not the big broadcast of the sun, but it's that little bit of light that we want to nurture. I love what you were saying. It really calls that to mind. So this holiday season is a time for joy, for love, for giving, and for receiving. It's a time for joy, for love, for giving and receiving. We receive light from our magnificent sun and from our candles and from each other. The word you speak brings light and energy. Masaru Emoto studied the energy of words, investing his resources. Have you heard of him, Masaru Emoto? You recall him? He researched energetic patterns that were created by words in snow crystals and photographed them. And some of their images were very distorted when words of hate were spoken, and some were lovely, what we call lovely, when the words of love were spoken. And similarly, words emit light with the capacity to warm our hearts or pierce our deepest thoughts. A spiritual practice is what came to mind when I was thinking of light and love. Because just as you, David is my teacher, my spiritual teacher, and being here on Sundays are part of that spiritual practice for me. And God thought it very interesting that I should have 2 services every week. For many years now. It's like I've been doing this for so long. It's like, yes, my child, you must have 2 services every week. So I study Tai Chi, as Baji does. I do Tai Chi every day. I'm in prayer and meditation every day. I have my own 12-step work that I do in classes to reinforce. That's my spiritual practice, to reinforce that which I know, which I'm just trying to reveal, right, in my own life, in my own walk. In a life path, I was doing a little research, and I came upon the words of Rudolf Steiner, who proposed that humanity now has the task of synthesizing the rational and contemplative spiritual components of cognition. So making spiritual perception to be awakened through intensifying thinking. A central principle of Steiner's proposed path to spiritual development is that of self-development. So I too have been working on that. Inner transformation. It's a necessary part of the spiritual path. And to quote him, he says, "For every step in spiritual perception, steps are to be taken in moral development. It reveals the extent to which a person has achieved control over his or her inner life. It ensures that he or she lives in harmony with the surrounding natural and social world. It correlates with his or her progress in spiritual development, the fruits of which are given in spiritual perception, and it guarantees the capacity to distinguish between true perceptions and illusions, of which we have both, or to distinguish any perception between influence of subjective elements or objective realities." My daily path, as I've mentioned, are physical, taking care of my inner light through exercise and meditation. Sharing the final months with my mother, who just passed us 5 weeks ago, was very precious. The small exchanges of love through helping hands and glances, sips of coffee and bites of food. We shared more than the physical thank yous. We shared love. We shared our light. When I left her hospital room, I was changed. I've spent several days in there with her overnight, and having moved away from the many days enclosed in the isolated world of medicine, monitors, and gasping air, I tasted life in the air and felt aligned with every person I encountered. The shoppers, the store clerk, and as I slowly walked through the store, I heard more clearly the love exchanged through conversation and the energies permeating through glances and head nods. Love is light. The strangest secret, and Earl Nightingale says, the strangest secret is that we become what we think about most of the time. And so I'm choosing to think about love most of the time. Cultivate the light within your heart. We travel through life either on autopilot or we can turn on the light of love. To give and receive love is like turning on the light. So whether you're young, old, or in between, access the light within. Know that you're a gift to this world. You have the capacity to give and receive light, to give and receive love. It's inherent within us. So just relax for a moment. I want to share a treatment by Ernest Holmes. And he says, "The oneness of the universe expresses through and as every fiber of being, as love, light, joy, peace, and oneness. All beings are God, knowing God in this moment and every moment. as I know the oneness of the universe expressing through and as every being, I know this oneness through and as me, and through and as each of us. The abundance of the universe is expressing itself here and now through all of us as infinite prosperity in all things. All is spirit expressing here and now through and as each of us as peace, love, and joy. All is spirit now. I know as we experience peace in every area of our lives that peace is expressing through and as every being and Mother Earth now. All is God and all is peace for and as each of us. I know it is so. In gratitude and thanksgiving, I lovingly release these words to the law, knowing it is so and done now, and so it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Penelope. My name is Rick Carter, and I am not prepared, but I will talk to you like I'm having a conversation with my wife. So welcome everybody, and namaste. Good. So what does illumination and light mean to me? I think when Reverend David called me at work and I was working on something that was very intense, and I was like, well, how did he get my number, first of all? And why is he calling me? So I asked my wife, did he call you and you have him call me? But at any rate, I said yes, like I do most of the time. And what the light means to me personally, it's giving service, and service in the way of love, and to meet and greet and do work here, and that's wherever I go. And I'm in the service industry, and I tried to put the best face forward and speak to everybody and make their job easier, as well as mine, because it comes back to me. And I see that here. This practice has done everything for me in my life, and it keeps expanding and forever unfolding. And as I meet each one of you, you become the light to me as well. And if I don't know you, I love all of you, just as I love myself, because I love myself a lot. So, having said that, but as I first got introduced to this practice, I think me and my wife had visited the other location when you guys were down in Buckhead, and I met a practitioner by the name of Reverend Kim, and I had, right before I was transitioning from another job to another job, I talked to her about this journey I was going to make out to Portland, Oregon, and she said, don't worry about it, everything's going to be fine. And I was kind of excited, a little bit of nervous about going out there because I didn't know nothing about the place. And she was right. Everything turned out to be the greatest experience of my life for me and my wife. I met some great people out there, had a great time. The food was wonderful. Learned how to do salsa, which I love. We went adventuring. We went and seen some great sights. From Crater Lake to the falls, all kinds of different things, and the experience was just wonderful. And then I come back, and it was just even more of the same, and things just kept unfolding. I remember one thing that Reverend Kim always used to say: "How can it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this?" And I used to say that to myself every time anything great would happen, and a lot of that kept happening. And where did that come from? That came from my spirit, that came from my light. And I think that's where other people saw the light in me out there, because they would ask for me personally to come back, and I still have relationships with those people even now, which I'd never had before in the past. So this is really the truth, and it resonates deeply within me. And that's it. Thank you.
Hey gang, how are ya? Well, it didn't, when the email came in from David, David said to me, Joyce, we would like for you to be the elder, the sage elder. It did not take me 2 minutes to know that it was because I'm the oldest one here. Well, I could think of a couple of other people, but he didn't ask them. I'm here to tell you about the light. I've been in the darkness before. I've been in a lot of darkness. I'm a recovered alcoholic and in 24 years of alcoholism. And during that last 5 years or 10 years of my alcoholism, I was so disconnected from God. I was so disconnected from the light that I was fighting everything that I could do. I could try to stop drinking and I couldn't. But there was a time then when it was like I had reached that bottom, that period when everything was going wrong. I was in so much darkness that I was lying my way through life. And I share this part of my life with you because there's so many people that think that we just become part of the light and the light is so easy to move into. It's not. It's not. And what we also find out is that when we go through this darkness, as I did, and I had a death experience, I write about it in my Energy Connection in my book, and when I wrote about it, I literally left my body. I left my body, and guess where I went? Into the light. And the light was so bright, it was brighter than this. This is so bright right now, coming down on me. It was so bright, and I was so in oneness in this experience, and I heard a voice. And the voice said, "No, not yet, my child." Now, I came back in, and I was in intensive care, and I knew something had happened. I knew I will never be the same. I know I will be getting a divorce. I know my children who hate me, dislike me. I know they're going to come around. I know there's something greater for me. Now, here's the coup de grace, gang. I was with Earl Nightingale at the time. I was teaching motivation. The strangest secret, I was teaching and lecturing on the strangest secret, cause and effect. I couldn't get it together. And then I did what we all have to do, is to surrender to the light. We have to give up. We have to give up the ego. We got to give it up. We got to say no more. And in old Catholic terminology, Satan, get thee behind me. You got to let go. And when you let go, the light begins to come in. Not quick. Not a miracle. Oh, I'm in the light now. I've learned by the time I'm my age, never mind what I learned about that. So I began a 12-step program, and I was speaking at Kennedy Schultz's church. You guys didn't know it, did you? I was really working on sobriety, really working on it. But once I got that sobriety, and once I started forgiving, I would find that the more I forgave, the more light would come in. I would find that the more loving I was, the more light would come in. I would find the more that I forgave myself, the light would come in. I've had my ups and downs with the light, my highs and my lows. And I learned a long time ago that when I had those really high highs, I was in for a low. So I learned to pace it. I learned to pace it. I learned about people. I learned about reading their energy. I learned about seeing their aura, their light. I learned about looking in the eye of another person, and I could see the light. And I got to the point where it really didn't matter what you were, who you were, what your religion is, what your color skin is, I didn't care. And I still don't care. Because we're all one, gang. We're all one. One with the one. And the one brings in the light. Thank you very much.
From
the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of the dear Savior's Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared, and the souls felt His word. The thrill of hope, the weary souls rejoicing, for yonder break the new and glorious morn. On your knees, oh, hear the angels' voices. When Christ was born. Christ was
Yolanda Williams, it's an honor to have you here with us tonight, Yolanda. Thank you so much. Now it's Christmas. Now it's Christmas. Beautiful.
So I ask you now to prepare your candles, and I also ask that our wonderful staff ministers, for those who are here, if they will come and join me, Reverend Susan, Reverend Avon, Reverend Sandra, there she is, yay! If you will all come over here and join me together. There's a wonderful way in which we can take our affirmative prayer and do it in tandem. And I'm going to ask Reverend Susan, I'm going to hand her the microphone and ask her to start, and then she will pass it down. And then I will end it, and then we will begin our ceremony.
If you would, close your eyes for just a moment and remember what this season has represented to you. From the time you were very young growing up, and now. And let's know that some of us feel so faith-filled tonight, and some of us may be seeking to feel that faith. And let's know this, that whatever this season represents to you, be it solstice, Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever your tradition is, it's about the light and the light that is within each of us. And this solstice, this night of the longest darkness, is the beginning of the return of the sun. It is the beginning of the return of the Son, the Christ within us. And as such, the flames of my heart grow stronger. And that which is within me that knows the truth and knows that it knows is heightened. And I am changed permanently in consciousness by action of these words, that I always know from whence my help comes, and I always lift my eyes symbolically by lifting my consciousness. And I know that that which is born, that moment of the Christ birth, is always there for me. That moment of the darkness beginning to recede and the light growing stronger, it is always within me, every single moment. And this carries me. This illumines me. And for this I am grateful, and I know this about each of us, that there is something within us that quickens tonight in love, compassion, generosity. And we release the need to criticize others and simply send that which is within our heart, the truest part, out to those who may be lonely, ill, suffering in any way, because we know the light is there with them. And as we send our light out, it goes to each and every person, because we speak our word. I speak this word with clear intention, knowing that it is always acted upon. And for this, I am so grateful.
And just know with me, the light of your source, the sunshine of your source expands you, burns away anything unlike itself. And this is a time to remember that there is only one light, one source, one divine presence that fills every cell of your being. And as I remember that, as I expand myself beyond this body, beyond this room, beyond this building, beyond all of Atlanta, Georgia, the United States, as I expand beyond this earth, beyond this galaxy. And the light that I am touches the light of the one. I feel myself. Peace. I feel the joy, the love, the wisdom. And I am grateful. I'm grateful for recognizing, remembering my expanded self. Because this light, this source, this knowing reminds me that all things are possible, that there's only good, there's only love. And so each and every person that I see, that I think of, that crosses my mind, They are flooded with light. Therefore, they are flooded with love. They are expanded with peace and joy. And I am grateful for it.
This is what I know for each of us, knowing that we all reside in the oneness that is, in the divine universal light. I know that I and you are more than a possibility, more than a probability, that each of us is a reality. We are a reality in our own lives. We are a reality on this plane. And eventually we will move into another life, onto the other planes, wherever it shall be. But right now, as each of us rises every morning, and we step forward into each of our worlds, into each of our beingness, into each of our actions, we carry with us the light of love, the light of knowingness, and the light of the ability to do and to practice all these things that we talk about, that we study about, that we are more than an intellect, and we're more than a heart. We are the spirit of all there is expressing itself in us. And this gives me joy.
And I invite you now to stand with your candle. And the prayer is still open. We haven't released it yet. And I'm going to ask Reverend Susan if she will go in that direction, if Avon will travel towards the middle, and Reverend Sandra if you'll go in that direction. And just begin, just a couple of people, and then if our staff ministers will rejoin me back in the front. Just a small little logistic. Please be aware of your neighbor, of long hair, of hairspray, of fur collars. Just be aware. I ask that you hold it upright. And Reverend Susan and Reverend Sandra, if you could join me back up here as that light travels. So first we start with the self. I ask that you look into that flame. And I'm going to say this once, and then I'm going to ask that you repeat it. And that is I, and then you fill in your name. You speak your name. Forgive myself for denying my light. And I now allow it in. So once again, it's I, and then you say your name. Forgive myself for denying my light, and I now allow it in. Let's do it together. I, David Ott, forgive myself for denying my light, and I now allow it. Once again, I, David Alt, forgive myself for denying my light, and now I let it in. And now I ask that you look at the same flame, and you put into that flame the essence of someone that you need to forgive. And in your heart and mind, you send that same prayer to them. And now I ask that you allow whoever it is that you seek forgiveness from to speak to you on that beautiful plane that knows no separation, and that you hear the words from them and you take it into your heart. And now ceremoniously, if you will lift the light for the world, so that we know the truth of this forgiveness for all the world, for all of life. And let us sing together. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine,
And I shine so
and
bright.
I shine so bright.
And I shine.
And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this
Look at one
world.
another.
You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright.
And we shine. Take that in.
Take a moment now and look around at those. Tell the people next to you that you are a light. I honor the light in you. I know the highest and best for you. And now, lovingly back into your flame, I ask that you put into that flame your heart's desire for this new year. What do you want? What do you long for? You know, we're in a place, we're in a philosophy, we're on a path that tells us that that's possible. It doesn't have to be reserved for a holiday. It's constant. And so let us make this commitment now as we look into this light. And I ask that with all the fervency in your heart, you declare what it is that you want. And now we close this prayer by saying, and so it is. I think keep your lights going just a little bit longer because it's just too pretty. And let's sing, we wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Good
Tidings we bring to you and your King. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And now we release our light into the world. I ask that you take your other hand, the one that doesn't have any wax dripping on it. You place it very gently behind the flame, and as you carefully extinguish the light, together again we say, and so it is. Thank you so much. There are buckets out near the door that you can extinguish and put your candles, the rest of your candles in. Please stay for fellowship. Love one another, and Merry, Merry Christmas.
Can we have the lights, please? There we go. So bad, you are enough. It's that microphone.